Hopefully we go live soon. Looks like we are live now. Cool. I think this is what I'm going to have to kind of share around a little bit because I've been talking about taking apart this camera for months. I hear my CPU spinning up from the stream. So what do we say? About to take apart an original Xbox camera for science and preservation? I think my default audio device might have to change so I can hear what's going on a little better. I don't even know what screws are in this camera yet, so it's going to be fun figuring that out. Just going to chuck this on pretty much every Discord. One thing I forgot to do, I should have done, was set up a controller port adapter so I can easily connect the camera to the PC to pull the device descriptor. We do have a device descriptor, just not off of this exact camera. I'm gonna wait till a few people hop in. It is here though, it is ready to go. People in the chat are immediately like, just rip her apart, kill it, take it apart, murder it. We'll not kill this one. By the way, fixed the PS2 camera last night, and it was just a small pull-up resistor got knocked loose, and it's back on now. One of my buddies from Australia said he has to go out, unfortunately for him, but he can always watch the replay, right? It would be nice to have people to chat with, voice back at me so I could hear what's going on, just in case I screw something up horribly like last night. I do have a flash cat ready, and I have a little contraption here, and these little pin clips here, and the intention is we can hopefully dump the eeprom without any damage to the camera itself and without removing the eeprom chip at all. OG Xbox Gamer says the first person to open one of these, I bet. Probably in about 20 years. Yeah, I would agree with that. I have to mute one of these stream. There we go. One of the stream managers I had open was just freaking out. Twitch says my video quality is excellent and our bitrate is high at 4 megabytes a second. Which we could do faster than that if we wanted to, but I'm not going to try and push 4K. I think we're good to start if people are here. I just don't want people to like miss the first 30 seconds of actually looking at this thing. Okay, gloves on first because we don't want to destroy this thing. I touched it with my bare hands last night. I felt terrible. Get those nitrile rubber gloves on. Probably not real rubber, probably just nitrile. Like the box said. Now, OG Xbox Gamer has a vested interest in this because this is going to go back to him. Holy crap, look at that beauty. I think I did plug it in when I first got it, but I haven't plugged it in since. I'm actually going to take the stand off. It is very loose, but I'm going to take it off just so we don't risk damaging it. I'll put it aside. Let's get rid of this bubble wrap. I did clean off the mat again, just to be safe. Looks like a Phillips number 2 for the, oh, that's actually really loose. This must have just come loose over time, but like it's not stripped, it's just loose. That's kind of where it should be. It's a little more snug now. It'll hold its own weight up. I wonder if I can get you guys to see the, maybe I can get the microscope on that part. Let me get OBS up so I can see what's going on with it. Oof, great start. Maybe you guys can read that just so we have a little bit of a record. I'll take more photos of it too before it goes back. And I'm sure OG Xbox Gamer will take more photos if anybody asks him, because he's a super chill dude about this stuff. He wants to share his collection with the world, not hoard it all to himself. Being really gentle. It's not quite out. There's a few more threads left on it there. We actually knocked a nut loose inside. I felt it go. So we'll have to reconnect that when it's still open. It's extremely light. Actually, I'm going to get a scale really quick so we can tell how heavy this is. I'll be back in about 20 seconds. All right, we're back with a random scale I found in the junk drawer. So we're going to turn it off and back on. Hopefully you guys can see the reading on that. Oh, that was very clear on the video. Cool. So I'm going to put this screw right over here, way out of the way. Base stand just by itself is 50.2 grams. That's quite heavy for this whole thing. Putting the stand away, way out of the way. Oop, we almost lost our flash cat there. Now I'm going to try and get some strain relief on the cable. That's like not even 40 grams. That's incredibly light. So let's see if I can find freedom units here. 1.38 ounces. That's very, very tiny. Very, very light. Okay, what screws do we have in here, guys? Maybe we get a flashlight and try and get a really bright light in there. It looks like a number 1 or number 2 Phillips, but it's really long. I don't think the iFixit screwdriver will actually reach in there. Oh, look at that. Actually, there's a spring there we lost too. Let's put that with the screw. I don't think that'll reach all the way. Nope, and I don't want to scratch the back, so I'm just going to get a precision screwdriver set. Whatever I can find. Now, see, I thought I had everything I needed, but of course, let's dig, right? Are those Phillips? Nope, those are both slot. I got a nice long Phillips. That should do the job. Yeah, you shipped it with no board in it, OG Xbox Gamer. That would be awesome. Oh, I got purchased, so it is definitely going to come apart. Oh, that is snug. So we're going to do tightening it like a 50th of a turn. It's a tiny, tiny bit, just a couple degrees, and that tends to snap it loose without damaging standoffs. I'm going to go real slow on this. I can feel there's a lot of pull on it because I don't want to damage the standoffs and I don't want to strip it. It's loose and it's coming out loose now. Little tiny number 2 Phillips, or number 1 Phillips probably. Having a hard time getting purchase on this one. Oh, there we go. Okay, we just tightened it a tiny bit and that snapped it loose. Now it's coming out a little easier. Will be a challenge to reassemble. Crunchtacular is worried about the camera. Yeah, well, I am too. I don't want to destroy Xbox history. I love this console. There's our second screw. Now, I've seen other models of this. If you look at Borman's on YouTube or on a few Wikipedias, there's one with a side screw like that. So there may be actually 2 different models of this entirely. We're cracking the egg. It is pretty snug. It's very hard to get apart, but I'm being very gentle and taking my time. There we go. It's almost done. And there we go. I did not expect that. Okay, the back is just hollow. Nothing there. But the front, I expected a very flat Logitech board like the other ones we've seen. And it's not that at all. It's this big, beautiful circular circuit board. Let's point out a few things to you guys. Maybe I'll get the microscope going too. That's the main chipset. It's the same one as the PS2 iToy. It's an OV519. This is the crystal, and that's the EEPROM we want to dump. I can get a clip on that pretty safely. If not, I have these little tiny probes here we can clip onto them. And here, this is a little JST connector. It looks to be 1.5 millimeters-ish. I'm going to be very gentle and try to just pull it out. Oh yeah, that's great. That's much nicer than the PS2. I did not expect that at all. I was expecting a very flat, simple board, like the second PS2 iToy. So let's see if these screws come out. I suspect these 2 hold on to the front lens. So this one has that same kind of ring as the PS2 to focus it, which we will play with on Xbox Live or on Insignia at some point. Okay. I want to dump that EEPROM and find out if it's identical to the PS2 iToy. And I want to write it to a PS2 iToy to see if, by some chance, we can just, like, straight up just copy the EEPROM over. It would be funny if it just worked. I got one message on Discord. It might be important. Huh. Crunch bite is odd. That's all I'm going to say. We're going to very gently pull up and see if this comes up. It doesn't want to come just instantly, but the lens is loose now, so I suspect that will just kind of come out. Oh, you know what? I can't go further safely. I'll get the microscope and show you. All right, where's the camera focused right now? Okay. We're on a high magnification. I'm going to lower the magnification a little bit. Oh my God, check that out. It's not an OV519, it's an OV530. This is probably a later model. Dumping the EEPROM on this may just not work on the iToy at all. But this will have a different USB descriptor than the other one entirely. So there's a good chance that we can find other chipsets that'll work in here. Okay, still, I'm going to dump the EEPROM regardless. We've only seen OV519 USB descriptors so far. So I don't recognize the markings on that EEPROM. S24 CSO. Let's take a look online quickly. Or is it CS0? It's a standard 2-wire serial EEPROM. I'm just looking for a data sheet right now, see if we can find something on it. Because I need to know how much data to dump. If it's got too much data for like a 256K, if it's 512 or 1 meg, I don't know. So I better find out before we try to dump it. Also, the FlashCat software might auto-detect it. It might be a 16 kilobit. Take a look here so I can just get a bit of that off. No, it's on there pretty good. I don't want to risk really damaging that chip. I don't want to kill it too much. Okay, so the reason I can't go further safely is because this is very cheaply made. These are plastic, melted plastic that are holding it in place. There's, I think, 4 of them I saw. Yeah, look at that. Up there, there's one. I'm going to keep going around this board and see if there's anything else that's weird and unique. There's our JST connector, a lot of 0 ohm resistors. 12 megahertz fuse. There's your other stock on the right. That's the same. So essentially, I have to break that to get it to open further, which I'm not sure I want to do. There's the 4th. Let's just move the other camera part out of the way. Power regulation. Those are probably just test points or programming points for the eEPROM maybe. It's an OV530 though. That's interesting. We should see if we can find any other OV530 cameras. I'm not just going to YOLO the eEPROM dump. I'm going to try and find a compatible model. Wow. More information essentially about that. S24CS0. Now it says 16 in the bottom, but there is no 16 model that I can find. What do you guys think? Actually, there's a good question. OG Xbox Gamer, do we go further and break those plastic seals or not? Really? He wants us to keep going and taking it apart. This camera's going back to him. Let me try dumping the eEPROM first. Just we'll see what we will see what FlashCat says. This is not soldering ASMR, sir. I'm just speaking quietly because my other better half is in bed. All right, so we have let's go back to my other camera. We have a simple FlashCat with an adapter a friend of mine and I made. Well, he designed the board. I've redesigned it to be better because it had a few mistakes. Actually, there's an important point. This thing has pull-ups for the eEPROM if you're reading eEPROMs versus a SPI chip. So let's move those to the pull-up position. And then, as usual, make sure you have pin 1, which is the red wire, and the pin 1 there on pin 1 on the eEPROM. Yeah, I'm going to put super glue on this thing, Crunchbite. That's a great idea. I'm going to try and clip this, and I'll put it back on screen. All right, we have successfully clipped the chip. All right. Give me a second. Let's see if we can. Here we are. Whoa, that's not good. Let's do this. Yeah, Hawkloo's a thing. Okay. We're going to go back to the other mode. Now we have Flashcat here. Mode. We're going to tell it I2C eeprom. Maybe tell it to reinitialize. And it can't read the eeprom. Man, I hate this piece of junk. I should probably just switch to the, what's that thing called? The cheap little CH341A, because that always just works when this thing it just never frickin' does. It's trying to find an eeprom and it just can't. I'm gonna unplug it and plug it back in. Oh, we fell over. Yeah, this thing just never works. It's really annoying. Pin 1 was in place properly though, or pin 1 on the clip and here was connected to the right location. Crunchbite just showed me a very expensive programmer. It's like, yeah, dude, I want to get an expensive programmer too, but I don't have $1 million. Let me find another programmer quickly. I have a bunch of these lying around. Get the right extension cable for it. And yes, my CH programmer is modified to provide 3.3 volts on the reading side. All right, let's unplug this little bugger. Flashcat, I hate you. I wish you weren't complete junk. Then we'll plug this into our I2C side of the CH. I'll have to get a USB descriptor from this as well, just straight over USB because it's gotta have something interesting. Considering it's a full different chipset. The worst part about this though is I can't just take this EEPROM and throw it on an OV519 because it is just a whole other chip. Just looking for my programmer software. We'll see if it detects the programmer. Of course it doesn't. Let's cover another one. I have multiple pieces of software for this. I just gotta remember which one to use. Device state, connect, not connect, connect, not connect. Make up your mind, sir. I used these programmers quite a bit when I was working on the Duke camera, or the Duke controller back in the day. That was a long time ago. We managed to dump the video file off of it and modify it. I think my USB extension cable's starting to go, which would be a sad day. Yeah, when I hold it at certain positions, it just detects, and other positions it doesn't detect. Let me just check the pins on this thing quickly. Here, this is what's happening. Connect, not connect, connect, not connect. Yeah, I know. And it's, I believe, isn't it 5 and 6? Are your I2C pins not pins 7 and 8? Let's try this again. Making sure we know where pin 1 is. You know, I'm gonna do this off camera just because I can do it closer to my face. Well, at least one of us knows which pins are I squared C. I'm gonna piss off the crunch bite. We don't want to do that. He's a nice guy. This programmer is not working. I do have another one. I should dig out and see if I can get it working. It could also just be the software is no good. I don't want to go deeper until we get a little more data on this thing. Whereas OG Xbox Gamer is just like, go do it, break it. You know what? I have Raspberry Pis. I need to just get my ass in gear and actually use them for EEPROM dumping. That would be real smart. It's also possible that this is going to draw too much power from the power that the I squared C bus uses, or the SM bus uses. Very difficult to do when you can't see all that well. Let's see what happens now. See if we can get a read. Nothing. Yeah, it's still not connected properly. And I don't feel like soldering to this thing if I don't have to. That'd just be, you know, the opposite of what I really want to do. Software is frozen. Wonderful. Detection failed. Could not find chip. Yeah, it's not able to read this chip. I might have to lift a leg, and I don't want to do that on stream because I know that's something I'm going to have a hard time doing by hand with a bad view. I grab a different piece of software and see if I can get that one working. Yeah, last night I knocked a capacitor off of, or a resistor, a pull-up resistor, off of a PS2 iToy, and I thought I killed it, but it was an easy fix today. Hey, we got a read. It's a valid read. I'm gonna save that. If it lets me save that. Oh no, the software is freezing up. Oh, that's no good. I can't even scroll down to show you guys it actually said Xbox camera. That's too bad. We'll try again in a second. It's sad though that I have to use like a cheap, crappy, you know, knockoff EEPROM reader when realistically I have a really nice fancy one. It just never works. Okay, it's not an O2. It's not reading enough there. It's probably an O4, which would be 512K. Let's go common. Oop, not Fairchild. Common, please. So O2 is not long enough. It's not a lot of information there. Whew, I should be on 3 volt. Not that it matters. That's the way this thing programs. Let's go to an O4. So if we scroll down, we actually can see there's the Xbox camera. And this actually looks like the OV519, where it's all just blanked out here. But there would be a serial number about here on the PS2 iToy. So I'm going to switch it to an 08, which would either double up our data or just show blank everything after that point. Yeah, so it's definitely not an 08 because this is all blank essentially, which means it got nothing. It read nothing. So it's going to be an 04, just like the PS2 iToy. I will try to flash this one to the iToy. It won't work just because it's actually a different chipset entirely. Let's get a read again. I can see Microsoft, Xbox video camera. And our device IDs are going to be up here somewhere. Let me just, where's the save? Yeah, see, this one crashes when I save. That's too bad. What I can probably do is copy the buffer, though, into my hex editor. Or try a different version of the software. Yeah, Goonies never say die. Sorry, I'm holding the eeprom reader with one hand, just hoping to hold it in place. Can I, like, just select the whole buffer, maybe? Give me the whole buffer. Can I copy it? No. Data buffer? Oh, can I copy? No, it won't let me just copy it. I could realistically just screenshot this and like manually copy it, but let's try a different version of this software. Because they're all kind of junky and old. Let's try 1.29. There we go. Okay, we got a good read there again. And this one's actually saving. Let me just make a new folder with my right hand. Let's call it Xbox Cam. And we'll do multiple reads. Because if you don't, you can't guarantee you got a good read the first time. Call it 1.bin. We will read it again a couple more times. Save, and let's call it 2.bin. I will put this in a bunch of the discords in just a few seconds. That's cool. What we can do actually, where did I save that to? I know where it is. Okay, so I'm going to close this and disconnect the hardware because I don't want to risk this anymore. We can investigate that EEPROM dump quickly, and then I will go further because OG Xbox Gamer told me to. Oop, what did I just do? Studio mode. Let's turn studio mode off on OBS. Xbox camera. Okay, so XB cam, here we go. This is actually registered, it just doesn't work properly. There's our dump. This is fully expected. You know what I should do? Give me a second. I will compare this exact dump with a dump from the Namtai PS2 iToy. That'll be cool to see the differences. We want either the N models for Namtai or the silver one, because that's guaranteed to be the right one. We're going to run a hex compare. And I have to kind of move these around a little bit so you guys can see them, but we can see the differences. Like, this is definitely very similar firmware, if not identical. Doesn't really fit on this screen, sorry. Okay, so clear as day. Where's the mouse? Right here. This is our device ID. Let me grab the numbers. Okay, the original Xbox camera is 5E04 8CO2, so this does match the other dump we have. Maybe it is just the same chipset, but it's labeled differently. Like maybe Microsoft requested a specific version of the chipset or something. Up here, I have documented some of these things, but I'm not sure what these are offhand. This 59 or the B4, and there's the 181E. I know what this one is actually, right here. The 03 and the 01, so the B400 5903 and the 590001. The 01 and the 03 is how many devices it should report as part of the USB descriptor. So it'll tell it I am, in this case, one device. The Xbox is reporting as one video device. The PS2 iToy is reporting as 3, which is a volume control device, or sorry, a composite USB device, an audio device, and a camera. I believe the B4 and the 8 and the 59 are classes for the descriptor, but beyond that, I mean, it's pretty clear as day what we're looking at. The bottom, we just have like the naming for the descriptor is there. So realistically, like this looks similar enough. I should be able to flash this to an iToy and we should be able to just test it, you know? So let me just chuck this this eeprom right into console mods Discord and see what see if Derf has a complaint about that or not, since he runs that show. Boop, right onto console mods. Maybe onto Octofox Homebrew and see what the guys think there too. And what the hell? Let's be a friend to the Xbox scene guys and see what they say. See if they get mad. All right. OG Xbox Gamer wanted destructive checking, so we're gonna get to that. You guys are crazy. Well, he's crazy anyway. It's a 20-year-old piece of hardware. Nobody cares anymore. I can lower this a little bit, you guys. Closer view. That's about it, without screwing up the magnification. Okay. Should I just try a dental pick to rip the plastic caps off? Should I try an X-Acto? What OGX? What should I try to do to get this apart? Also, I got to reassemble this now. That was not a good move. Let's start with a dental pick, just a little bit. Yeah, it's on there pretty good. It is melted, and it's likely ABS, so I'm having a hard time ripping at it. I could take a drill and just like drill bit by hand, not an actual drill, and just very gently twist it, kind of tear it off like you drill out a bolt, but very gently. Oh God, I feel very uncomfortable. We will hot glue it back together for OG Xbox Gamer because it is going to be his camera again. Okay, so I see. There's actually a slot right here. Not just I expected a hole that it goes up and then was spread out with the melting, but it looks like it's a pin that went up through this whole slot, like that kind of, and the pin got melted and squished over and the slot is still there. Don't mind my hand signals. Let's be a little gentle here, not destroy the whole camera while we're at it as I slip. Is this side a little bit loose now? Yes, I got one side loose, and that should pop the other side loose. So let's just flip it over and see what happens. It's coming. There we go. Wow, that is the same type of lens. Let's get the microscope out and you guys will check out this whole side. That's cool looking. OG Xbox Gamer says, wait, I changed my mind. You sure are a jerk. I won't say anything more me than that, but damn. We're on the lowest magnification I can do, unfortunately, because I already have 2 negative Barlow lenses on here. So there's our LED. I'm assuming it's green because, like, it's Xbox, right? Actually, you know what? I got my Fluke here somewhere. If we put it on either diode or resistance mode, we might be able to get it to light up a little bit. I just dropped a, looks like a GeForce MX 440. Sorry, GeForce fans. Now, this may not look very bright. Actually, can we get the zoom a little higher? Okay, hold on. Let's lower the camera a little bit more. I gotta twist it so it slides down. Ow, I pinched my finger. There, okay. We'll get it back in focus. Oh, that's a nice focus, eh? Oh, let's get real close and see that LED in all its tiny glory. Perfect, right? This microscope brought to you by Kijiji. $70 on Kijiji. Okay, no light in that direction. Let's try the other direction. Although I think that was the right direction for current flow. I could just get a 3-volt battery and try, but I don't know if that'll work. I can't see very well with what I'm working on here. Oh, no light, unfortunately. But I assume, especially with this green dot here, that it's going to be a green LED. And we can always power it up later, right? So the fluke was a lot more expensive than $70. The microscope was $70. The camera was $100, which I still consider a huge win because a lot of those, like from AM Scope, you're going to pay $600 for like a cheap, garbagey camera. We're responding to Crunch by making fun of my my microscope for $70. Some regulatory stuff there. 2004. Wow, not as old as I thought. That's our connection points to the USB. Crunch, if you ever come visit, I'll give you a digital microscope, my crappy, cheap Chinese one. I mean, definitely purpose built here. Like, could it be any more obvious? I wonder what those are for. That white silkscreen? Okay, that's about it. And this is very similar to the ones we were looking at yesterday, the CCDs. Cool. So realistically, I think I can put this whole lens back on without causing any issues. The lens, like I was saying, this focal ring, it actually, will this come out? I'm not gonna force it, because that is risky. I don't know if you can see the little red filter there. It's likely an infrared filter. Actually, there's a few different lenses in there. There's probably an infrared and a UV filter, which we could test. We'll hook this up to the Xbox maybe before I go to Portland Retro Gaming Expo. Maybe we can hook it up and take a look and see if I can shine a UV light at it and an IR light at it and see if it detects them or not. The silver Namtai camera had a very clear lens. The black, both the Logitech and the Namtai, both have a very, like a reddish lens just like this, but they're a little bit bigger. That's cool. Also, you might notice that's a giant square here. They probably were expecting to have large sensors just like the iToys might have. Let's just get this back together now since apparently this can come, like this is very much like the iToy. Look at that, actually. That wasn't squared off. That was diagonal. That was on an angle like that. That's unexpected. You'd think it would be square like that. So I'll write down all the chips that are in here. We'll get them out to like, I want to write up a console mods page, but I expect like Xbox Dev Wiki and a few other places will have more information. Especially since we now have a full EEPROM dump and not just a USB descriptor. People are messaging me about this or about other projects. Not the right time, gentlemen. I appreciate it, but can't help you at the moment. So let's try and get this back together with in a very difficult manner. The most difficult we can. We'll make it as difficult as possible. Why not, right? Now, one thing about old plastics is never just turn the screw in. Turn it back until you feel a click with light pressure down. Then that means you've settled into the threads, and after that you can turn it clockwise again, unless you have a counterclockwise screw, but you know what I mean. So that side too. So we'll get it settled in place. I'll go left until I feel a little snap. Right there, I just felt it. Then we screw it back in and it goes in nice and easily with no force. We're not cutting new threads. We're not damaging the old threads at all. we're going to make these snug but not tight because, fuck, I don't want to damage this thing. So that's our focal ring right there. That just moves the lens further and closer to the Xbox camera itself. Actually, that's it. That's where it maxes out in. Let's go out. You can see there's quite a distance there now. And if you look inside, you can kind of, maybe I can get the microscope out. You can actually see the threads in there. Yeah, I'll put the microscope there. Oh, you'll be able to see it. There's complete threads. Let's go a little higher up. No, lower down. You can kind of just see the threads there a little bit that we just completely detached. Now, realistically, with the way the camera is set up, with this flange here, this will stop it from going all the way outside the camera. It'll probably max out long before it reaches that point. Let's see if we can see the threads there. There they are. Yep. There's actually a little dust in here already before I even got in here. That's neat. Very gently. So one easy way to tell which way this goes is there's one LED and one slot for an LED, so it has to go in this way. I was not expecting a board like this at all. It's very elegant, very clean, very small. You know, I didn't see any manufacturer markings other than Microsoft on there, so this like, I didn't see Logitech or anything. But you know what? I'm definitely gonna. The next thing I'm gonna do is flash that firmware right to PS2 iToy. I suspect we'll still have to do that hardware register thing. Actually, we can look at that. I didn't think about that. Sorry. When we modify a PS2 iToy to work as the Xbox camera, actually, yeah, I can show you guys that. We're using the OV519 chipset on both cameras, which is this. And can we zoom in, please? And can we go to that view? Perfect. I can just get this up in the corner so you guys can see the whole thing. Yeah, that's not bad. Okay, so here's the actual chipset. And if you look, it says GPIO 5 and 4 for pins 33 and 34. So I'll just zoom out a little bit. This is a free PDF. You can find it. It's for the OV519 chipset. But this is the important thing here. This is what Risey, not me, not Xbox 787. It was Risey who figured this out. I gave him this page, and he's like, yeah, this is it. Here you go. Done. I got it working. Like, in seconds. The guy is a freaking genius. So right here, if we set both descriptors to 0, 0, I expected this 0, 0 to be like a data signal or something, like somewhere else, like you're putting zeros into here. No, it's low and high. A 0 is low, a 1 is high. So you have 4 pins, GPIO 5 and 4. If 5 and 4 are both 0, 0, which is grounded out, it tells the chipset you are only a camera and nothing else. That's it. That was the big secret sauce. Whereas the PS2 is, I believe, interface 2 here, which is both on, both high, or floating in this case, and it becomes a video device and an audio stream device. So I suspect we'll still need to do that on the PS2 iToy because we don't want the chipset sending the wrong data back to the rest of the console, or to the rest of the back over the USB to the console. So I'm not going to do the repair of locking this back in place yet, but I am just going to like get everything snugged up and put it back kind of where it belongs. Our LED will come out there. Let me switch back to the workbench only view. OJ Xbox Gamer says, yeah, it has gone well so far. Yes, it has, because the previous one did not go well. I knocked a resistor off of another webcam and it just stopped working until I fixed it. I absolutely fixed it today. So this I took apart. Looks like there's your nut. And that's just what this glides around on. Let me find the stand with this beautiful tiny little Xbox logo on it. Look at that, isn't that gorgeous? Sorry, This is crooked again. That's a little better. So I believe the screw was next to the, or had the, sorry, the spring was next to the screw like this. Either way, it will work. This is a very heavy base. We measured it, right? Did we get the weight of it earlier? Not in freedom units though, right? If you're curious how I got the scale, a buddy of mine's dad, we cleared out his house when he moved out, helped him move away, and he had like 50 of these. So you judge your you make your own judgments about that. That is 1.77 ounces. Am I screwing this up? What did I do wrong? Grams. 50.3, so this is a little heavier than the whole camera itself. All right, so I'm going to put this back together best I can without damaging anything. That way, OG Xbox Gamer will forgive me for any other minor transgressions with this thing. And you guys let me know what else you want to see. Like, I can try to program an iToy. It's very difficult. You need to use these little clips or solder directly to the pins. It's a lot of work to write that EEPROM. What I ended up doing was just taking the EEPROM off. It was so much easier to deal with that way. And I'll take that hair out of there so you don't have to deal with that. Cool. There, we're sitting there nicely. Snug that up a little more. This was very loose, so I suspect either someone had moved around too much or they had actually loosened that themselves, but that should be a little snug like that. OG Xbox Gamer thanks me for taking this apart, but he could have done the same thing. He's a really smart guy. He just doesn't give himself enough credit for being as smart as he is. I think he knew secretly that I was going to give him this camera back regardless. So there's our, that's all just superfluous crap. This is the whole camera here. Where's our cable, guys? Did we lose the cable? No, I'm not that crazy. Here it is. So I'm hoping, okay, so Insignia or any other Xbox Live replacement, Insignia specifically, their rule is, and I don't blame them for this, is they need a copy of a game in hand before they decide to support it. That way nobody can claim piracy. And that's what they've done so far. Every single game they supported, one of their staff has a game in hand. For example, I found the, what was that game called? The Revolt beta, and I offered it to one of the staff members, and they're like, okay, let's do this. And then they supported Revolts. One of our testers, Evan, who's fairly local to me, he bought one of these cameras just recently. And he got the software with it. It was $500 Canadian from Japan, and he got that damn camera. So there's a good chance Insignia will support this. Now, I think one of Luke's pieces, his reluctance comes from, with this camera anyway, or this whole thing, is that it's going to require an XBE patch unless we can write an EEPROM to each iToy, like modify the iToy for them to report exactly as an Xbox camera. And I've already done that. That works. I've made the necessary EEPROM modifications. This is not going to be fun to reassemble. But to flash that EEPROM on an iToy is like, this was easy to dump. That was just clip it on, you're done. That's a big chip. The iToy is a much smaller. It's like this is what's it called? SOP? It's not TSOP. What is it? Someone help me with the naming of this socket size or this chip size. It's 150 or 200 mil. There's different sizes, but I can't remember the package name. It's SOIC, SOIC, or TSSOP. The other one is No, sorry, this is TSOP. The other one is TSSOP, which is thin, super small outline package. It is tiny. I will pop another camera open and show you just how fucking small that thing is. Thank you, Crunch. That is SOIC 8. That is an accurate term for it. The other one is much, much smaller. Let's actually pop one out really quick. And just managing to program the other one. Like, I can do it, I just don't like doing it because it's so freaking small and difficult. Let's move the camera right here. I might have to do this after stream just because it's going to be so fiddly to reassemble. And I have to get that glued back shut, which I don't want to use any really harsh glues for. These ones come apart real easily. They're a little difficult to reassemble. I find with the focal ring, it's just pull from the top or the bottom and it snaps right out just like that. Okay. EEPROM. Let's get that. Oh, I hate these microphones. Yeah, I'm a little less gentle with this one. So let's get the microscope. That's the SOIC, SOIC, or TSOP. This is the EEPROM on the iToy. I can solder to that. I don't like soldering to that. It is an absolute pain in the ass. That being said, I have traced those lines back, these little guys here, the data lines, back to this bank up here of resistors and all that. And we can just connect to them there, which I will end up doing. This is the one I broke yesterday, which I repaired with that ugly resistor right there, that 10K. So I can tell this iToy, hey, you are fully an Xbox camera. But to do that is a pain in the ass. It is way easier just to patch the executable. So what we might end up doing is, instead of saying, go pirate the game, we'll be able to give people a Delta patch, some kind of patch they can just apply to the game themselves, and they'll have modified, the modified device IDs so they can easily just do it themselves. Essentially, it'll be quick and easy for them to go, okay, we'll patch this XBE. I could actually do it with the DVD to Xbox ACL patch. And then they can just essentially run their own iToy as an Xbox camera instead of the opposite, where we're telling the instead of telling the camera, we're just telling the software to accept the different IDs. I think that's what we'll end up doing. And then beyond that, Evan Blacks from the Insignia Discord is fairly new to the scene. He came up with a fairly decent translation patch. It's quite good. I'm impressed with it. I will show that off as soon as I get my data path vision capture card, and then I can show you actual Xbox stuff. Unfortunately, I won't have this camera anymore, but we have the data from it, so we don't really need it anymore with all the box of iToys I got. Anyway, that's about all I can really show you, because getting this assembled will be a little bit of work. I don't really want to do it on stream. Is there anything else you guys want to see before I cut this off? I've been here almost an hour. I could banter for 6 more hours and bore you all. All I got is a much appreciated, which I appreciate the thanks, because a lot of the scene stuff is kind of thankless work. And anytime somebody says thank you, it gives it warms your heart a little bit, I definitely gotta maybe take a photo of this and put it on Twitter, of this running on Insignia. I'll do that. I'll see if I can get 2 of my cameras working together on Insignia tonight or tomorrow, because I still have tomorrow. But after that, I'm returning this home to its rightful place back in Oregon. Hopefully the TSA doesn't take it and think it's like some alien toy or something, because it kind of is. All right, with that, I'm going to cut this off. Hope you enjoyed the teardown. I will take lots more photos, and we'll document everything. I'll get it sent out, get it shared to everyone. I want to get a full page on this thing onto Console Mods. They're a great website. You should definitely check out consolemods.org. There's just a ton of useful information there, including just recently a list of all original Xbox DLC and title updates. So please check your consoles for lost content, everyone. Anyway, you guys have a great night, and thanks for hanging out for this stream.